What is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome back to another video on Lord of the Rings Home. Now, today is not talking about Legolas. Today, we're going to be talking about our healer character video. Now, I know that this is a bit long overdue. I decided to go through with damage characters and then tank characters, and then now we're going to be talking about healer characters. There's a few characters specifically that I want to talk about because they're the main ones that are worth any mention. But, you know, a lot of this still has to do with the star ranks. And this is my third, maybe fourth video talking about how star ranks are going to impact the game, but both for spenders and for free-to-play. Now, my videos specifically focus on that free-to-play element in terms of, you know, what characters that you should be building or you should be considering, or what characters that you should be getting shards for. And I think that maybe this has kind of led to the thoughts that I should make a tier list. Maybe a tier list more aimed towards free-to-play players, those characters, you know, who are going to be the best for, you know, this month or whatever it happens to be, in terms of in reflection with the star rank changes coming through, because, you know, a lot of these marquee characters, example for light like Legolas, you know, and Gimli, I'm not even going to bother to, they're going to be benched. Because at 3-star, it's not really going to matter because I'm not going to spend on them to really benefit from the huge star rank stat increases that are going to be coming for 5, 6, and 7-star characters. We're going to be talking about all that, specifically healer characters, in this video. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Where's my scene? I always forget to find that. Okay, so you may have seen the down here, this was my damage part of the chart. I went in the wrong order when I did my videos, but we're going to be talking about healer characters. I only have a few in mind. There's a handful. I have Elrond here just in terms of reference, in terms of, you know, basically what the stats are going to be for Halbarad. I did a 7-star Halbarad. I know that nobody probably doesn't have a 7-star Halbarad. I don't even know if it's possible. I don't even know if there's been that many offers for him, but I only put it here just as a sheer, you know, what the differences in the hit points for their characters would be. And so just like the damage stat for the damaged characters, we're going to be looking at the health for these characters, because the heals has to do with how much hit points they have. Now, we've already gone through that. Hopefully you've already watched my previous videos. The chart's over here, you know, the star multiplier values. We can share it again, you know, so there's going to be changes to 4, 5, 6, and 7-star, but really the dramatic turn is kind of 6 and 7-star. It is quite a bit for 5-star because we go from 1.5x to 2.2. So that's, you know, that's quite a sizable jump, you know, but 6-star and 7-star get such dramatic jumps that we need to talk about some of these characters. And I honestly believe that people who have maybe bought offers or who have started investing in Halbarad, or have maybe done a combination of buying offers and buying shards for him from the store, from the challenge store, which by the way is absolute garbage. And I'm not just saying that because I'm mad because I unlocked Bolg first instead of Halbarad, but honestly, had I been able, if I knew this star rank change was coming, I actually probably would have ignored both of them. The amount of challenge tokens that are required to get shards for Halbarad is bad. To unlock, it is slow as all hell. It takes 5,000 of these just for 10 shards. And that means I need about, 20,000, 23,000 of these just to unlock him. Now, I do have 11.1. I'll be honest, I've actually been buying essences, because that means I don't have to spend my energy to farm these essences. And these I can get 20 of them for 1,500. And I don't know, I feel that's better than like 3 shards worth of value, because that's all I'm getting for Halbarad, or in this case I did unlock Bolg. But as soon as I did it as a completionist thing, and then after that, then I started buying a few Halbarad shards. I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm not doing this. So I stopped doing that. I'm kind of like, in a way, I'm kind of hoarding my challenge tokens, but I am also kind of just buying these as I need them. So back to this anyways. So I feel really bad for the people who may have invested into Halbarad, who have maybe spent money on Halbarad, who maybe only have him at 2, 3, maybe 4-star, but you're going to get outclassed by some of these other characters that are available, much more free to play, and much more you can grind them in the guild campaign, and they're going to perform much better. So anyways, those were just the stats, the max stats. If you happen to get a G8 7-star, new 7-star, how the changes will be for Halbarad is going to be about 51.6k, which sounds great in the health department if you were able to get a 7-star Halbarad quicker. But anyways, for the purposes of this video, I have now compared a 3-star Halbarad and a 4-star Halbarad, that's over here, with a Pippin at 7-star and a Naramiri at 7-star. We'll also talk about some of the other characters that I think are really interesting. Now, so I basically did all this stuff already. I jumped ahead a little bit. So, I mean, this is what their hit points, the end hit points is going to be for Halbarad at 3-star. It actually doesn't change because just like in the table over here, the 3-star stats don't change. It's just 1.2x. So that's very easy to find out. That you can just go do that online at LotR.gg. And this is his stats at G8 level 63 star is 23.3k hit points. Now that means his expected heal is about 3,600. He does 9% of his max hit points plus 1,500. And so that's approximately, the 9% is going to be about 2,100 plus the 1,500. It's going to get about 3,600 or so. And so that's a 3-star. Now at 4-star, it doesn't go up that high because it's, again, the same. It's 9% plus 1,500. And his hit points is only going up by about 4,000. So it's 9% of that 4,000, which isn't even 400 hit points. And you can see that difference here. It's just under 400 hit points difference. Now let's talk about Pippin and Naramiri at 7-star. The reason why you don't see numbers in Naramiri's thing is because actually they have the exact same hit points. Both Pippin and Naramiri have the exact same hit point base stats, and so therefore, more or less, the heal is the same, other than the fact that Naramiri's actually does plus 1,000 and Pippin's is plus 800. But both of them are 18% of their max health. And so Pippin and Naramiri's, while their hit points is quite low at a 7-star comparably if you look at to Halbarad 7-star. It's just like if I could have Halbarad at 7-star, obviously that's a no-brainer. But because I can't, that's, you can see that Pippin's hit points is actually more at 7-star than a Halbarad at 4-star. Now, Halbarad does have the highest hit point total in the game. So, Pippin's not meant to have that high hit points anyways. Neither is Naramiri because, for one, Pippin's a lot faster. Pippin's speed is very high because hobbits tend to have high speed. And he actually doesn't have too bad of a kit overall. But anyways, his expected heal is about 6,000 at G8 level 60 7-star. This is his hit points times 18% plus 800, which gives about 18% of this is about 5,200. So that's the expected heal. Naramiri's expected heal to do a bit more. This is assuming level 6 skills. That being said, are you going to want to invest that high into them? You might for Pippin. For Naramiri, I probably wouldn't go much beyond whatever you're farming for the second pass of Elrond if that's what you're looking to do. I don't really like Naramiri standalone. I think Pippin has a much better kit. So I think in the early game, it's very plausible and something that players should do is to make sure that you're farming Pippin to as high as you can do it. Now, the thing is, do you want to go back and do that now? If you're someone like me who's level 55 plus, I'm not going to because I don't feel that I need a healer at this time. But if you're someone who is in the early game and even in the mid game, maybe up to level 40-ish or so, I would probably go back and farm some shards for Pippin. You might, who knows, maybe Road to Rivendell will get their time in the sun as well. But even as a standalone character, as a healer, given his stats, he's actually going to be the superior healer to Halbarad, who is so slow to farm. So there's lots of great characters. We've talked about them already in some of my other videos. Ugluk, Pippin, Ironhide Troll. And then, of course, when you get to Chapter 2, you're going to want to farm a little bit of Naramiri in case if you want to get Elrond unlocked again for the second pass when he does come back, if we're still playing this game. That's a separate question, but whether or not this game survives that long for Elrond to come back, and that is a valid concern. And then, of course, I'm farming Elro here right now in Chapter 3. Now, if they gave us some better characters in the other chapters, that would be great. Some other characters that I do want to talk about, though, in the video, and we'll go back really quickly and talk about Pippin's kit, because he does actually have a pretty decent kit, and his cooldowns are somewhat low. When you get his special to level 6, you do actually get it down to 4 energy, which is pretty good. and it does cleanse 1 Bane from all squad members, so there is some versatility here in terms of who you can use him with. His basic attack does Dispel a Boon, so that's not terrible, and his focus stat is actually not awful either. Now, if you do a special 2, it does grant Might to all squad members, and Might's a very strong buff, so that's always nice to have. Now, you're not going to get the rest of it unless you have Mary, and I don't really recommend that at this time. And he does gain some resistance, and on his turn he can cleanse 1 Bane from a random squad member. Now, I don't use Pippin enough. I'm hoping that it chooses someone that has a Bane, and it's not just like, oh, I'll choose you who doesn't have a Bane and it doesn't do anything. But I don't know Pippin enough to comment on that. If you do, let me know. One other character that I do want to talk about in this video, though, is Feely. Now, Feely's actually a really great healer, and I think that he is going to have his time in the sun with Killy, with more dwarves and Thorin's company, because his healing is great. Now, his health stat is a little bit higher than Pippin's, so you can see 18.2k. It's slightly higher, not by much, but of course, with the star rank changes, you know, I'm farming Feely and Killy right now every single day, you know, just in case, for when, you know, they do get a dwarf leader ability, that, you know, he's actually a very good healer, and I really like him. It's just right now it's not worth doing, but I would keep it on the back of your mind just in the event that this comes to pass and this is something that you want to do down the line, assuming that we're still playing this game. I'm gonna say that because, you know, we're in a bit of a precarious position right now, I think, in the game, but he heals for 10% to the most wounded squad member on his basic. And that's pretty good as well. I like that it does that. His special 1 is on a low cooldown and does expose for 2 turns and weaken for 1 turn. So that's 2 different debuffs, which is really nice. And his special 2, which is his main heal, is on a cooldown of 5, and dwarves do have some slower speed. And so what would be really great is when they bring in some of the other characters, if there's a haste mechanic, that would be really amazing. But his heal does 800 health plus 16% of this character's max health. This part is pretty much Pippin's ability. But if Killy is an ally, it does 800 plus 21%. And that, actually no, sorry, Pippin's is, it's 18%. Sorry, not my bad, not 16%. So it is a little bit lower actually than Pippin's. But with Killy, which, oh, honestly, you're not going to use them if you're not using them together, you get 21%. And that's quite a bit. And you get Grant Fortitude for 2 turns, which is resistance to all dwarf squad members. So this is going to be an absolute must use when we get some more usable dwarves. He also gains 15% armor and grants all squad members a 6% block chance. There might be some synergy down the line with, I don't know, something to do with blocking, like you want to block and it does something with some of the leader abilities. I don't know, but definitely someone to keep an eye on, and someone that I'm farming now, because by the time that there is more Thorin's company, I might be able to have my Feely and Killy at a reasonable star rank, and that'll be worth my investment. In terms of the other healers, there's a lot of healers that like aren't really healers, or just like are really bad healers, and in fact, I don't even think Halbarad's even listed as a healer, so I'm not going to go over some of these characters because you're probably not going to use them. Eldred, I don't think anyone, it's not a free-to-play thing to do. Nuraz, I don't even know why he's labeled as a healer, frankly. Dunhar, he heals like 1 person, and then there's Chef Kraska and Uzan, and honestly, like they're all kind of bad right now, and some of them really are not farmable that easily anyways. So at the end of the day, the healers on the game right now is Naramiri, Pippin, Elrond, and Philly and Halbarad, and really that's about it. You're not really healing anything in the shadow side. Glug's basically carrying the Isengard heal through his leader ability, so yeah, that's not actually impacted by other people because it's that person's max health. Everyone gets healed a different amount, so that's it. But you know, I want to end with this: is if you've spent on Halbarad, how do you feel about the changes that are coming? I feel it's a bit of a bait. I don't want to go as maybe. Is it a bait and switch? It probably doesn't feel good. That's for sure. And it feels like a cash grab. It felt like it was a cash grab because they kind of knew. They probably knew that this was going to happen, and so they let people spend on Halbarad. And then meanwhile, you know, we could have just farmed Pippin all the way up to 7-star, knowing that these changes were going to happen, and he would have been just as good, if not better, in terms of what he is going to offer to everyone else. And especially with raids upcoming, you never know. You might just slot in Pippin, and he might actually have a lot of good value there to keep your team going, because we don't know 100% exactly sure what we're getting. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone, and probably the end, I guess, for now, of the star stat creep saga, I guess. I might end up doing a tier list video and try to rank some of the characters, at least from a free-to-play perspective, with the characters that are farmable early and in the guild campaign, so that people have an idea of who they should be working on. But that'll be for a separate video, and until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you all later. Boilon signing out.